Hi, my name is Cold Beer, and let's start with the Rustler.
As developers say, they took the inspiration for the Rustler from the Monty Python and first two GTA games and made a medieval game out of that. I can remember playing the first part of GTA for hours and hours and skipping school because of it. Never regretted that. Anyway, the Rustler is a humorous approach to the medieval genre. You'll find stuff such as no parking zones for your horse and police horses that have flashing red and blue lights on them. Game is set in an open world and you play as the guy, whose parents apparently were too lazy to give him a proper name. You'll experience feudal justice, inquisition, witch hunting, and join the grand tournament. Meet incredibly stupid knights, complete a wide variety of twisted missions and quests, or ignore the plot and bring mayhem in the villages and cities. Choose to go on foot or buy a stolen horse, fight with a sword, or pick fancy automatic crossbow. All that spiced up with a Monty Python inspired sense of humor, and you can burn down the whole village as well. Atomfall. The studio behind legendary Sniper Elite and Aliens vs Predator games decided to develop a survival action game inspired by real-life events. Atomfall is set 5 years after the Windscale nuclear disaster in northern England. Yeah, like most of us, I have never heard of it. So, long story short, in 1957 one of the nuclear reactors of Windscale site, that wasn't a power plant but a part of the British atomic bomb project, and produced weapons-grade plutonium, caught fire. So in the aftermath, a huge chunk of the country was affected by radiation and around 200 unlucky people died of cancer. So that's the real story. In the game you will explore the fictional quarantine zone around the aforementioned Windscale. You will scavenge, craft, barter, fight and talk your way through a British countryside filled with bizarre characters, mysticism, cults and rogue government agencies. People are saying that this is Stalker, Fallout, Bioshock and Brain 1. Sounds good to me. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. Here you will take on the role of Peter Parker, who is fighting big crime and iconic villains in New York City. At the same time, he is struggling to balance his chaotic personal life and career, while the fate of the town rests upon his shoulders. Yeah, this Spider-Man has some experience, he's not a newbie by no means. After 8 years behind the mask, Peter Parker is a crime-fighting master, so here you will feel the full power of a more experienced Spider-Man, with improvisational combat, dynamic acrobatics, fluid urban travel mechanics and environmental interactions. You'll swing through vibrant neighborhoods and catch great views of iconic Marvel and Manhattan landmarks. Also, you'll have to use the environment around you to defeat murderous villains. And you don't want any murders in your town. Well, except those who die in the process of you fighting the villain. Those are acceptable losses, and nobody will ever miss those people. Everyone knows that. Game has an overwhelmingly positive review score and is a true gem for every Spider-Man fan. Outer Wilds. This is one of the best indie games you can find in general. It was named Game of the Year by Giant Bomb, Polygon, Eurogamer and The Guardian, so that alone should grab your attention. If it grabs something else, call the police. Or grab back, I don't judge. Here you are, the newest recruit of Outer Wilds Ventures, a space program searching for answers in a strange, constantly evolving solar system. You will have to gather wisdom for the glory of your nation, because you are the one responsible for exploring outer space. When I played the game, I flew directly towards the sun and died, so believe you me, controlling this spaceship is one of the hardest things you will ever do. Well, I'm probably exaggerating a bit, but it is as difficult as it is fun as well. The spaceship is very responsive, so during your adventures you will have to find out what lurks in the heart of the ominous dog Bramble, who built the alien city on the moon. Well, obviously aliens, but you know what I mean. Can the endless time loop be stopped? And why is potato salad so delicious? Answers await you in the most dangerous reaches of space. Game has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, so you can't be wrong with this one. No Man's Sky. This is an alive project. Updates are constant, the game is getting better and better every year. And by saying constant updates, I'm not kidding. I have noticed that they update the game every month, or even more often. Here every star is the light of an actual distant sun, each orbited by planets filled with life, and you can go to any of them. The game is actually enormous. Of course, that size is only available because of procedural generation. So the real question is your mama procedurally generated?
Oh, Come on, how dare you?
I'm sorry, no I'm not. So here you fly from deep space to planetary surfaces without loading screens. In this infinite universe you will discover places and creatures that no other players have seen before, and perhaps never will again. So it is tailored for those who want to go where no human boldly went before, or for those who want to find the best place in a galaxy, which is called Biristan. Everyone knows that. Also keep in mind that every other player lives in the same galaxy and you can choose to share your discoveries with them on a map. That is cool. A short hike. On Steam it has 99% of positive reviews. Yeah, this looks like some kind of a miracle. Games with such ratings do not exist. You know, just like elves or politicians who don't lie. Well, honestly, elves are more common than politicians who don't lie, and games with this rating are even rarer. So this is a gem without a doubt. Here you can hike and climb through the peaceful mountainside landscapes, follow the marked trails, or explore the backcountry as you make your way to the summit. Along the way, meet other hikers and discover hidden treasures. People who play the game are saying that a short hike is like Breath of the Wild crossbred with Animal Crossing, and the only bad thing about this game is that it ends. And it ends really quickly. About 1.5 hours of your life will be made better by this game. But judging by the playtime of casual gamers, I can see that 9 hours of gameplay is quite a casual time. That can only mean one thing: people are playing the game more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times, more than... well, you get the point, I hope. A masterpiece, no doubt. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. By player count on Steam it holds 46th place among all the games. That shows how huge and popular this game is. There is no doubt that Skyrim is a masterpiece of open world games, and in my opinion it was decrowned from the throne of the best game in the field only by the third Witcher. By now it is of course a bit outdated, but it still lets you dive into a huge fantasy world and explore incredible places. Skyrim is single player only. There is no bullshit of other players invading your game like in Elden Ring, no other gamers walking around like in Diablo 4 when you just try to accomplish single-player campaign. Here you are alone, and everything is done for your personal pleasure. You can become a warrior, mage, assassin, or drug addict. You know, it's up to you. Skyrim is like a great book where you are the main protagonist. Superhero to be fair, but the lore is super deep. Stories, especially for guild quests, are great, and if you never played it, just do it. Subnautica. When I first tried to play Subnautica, I had some mixed feelings. I don't really like to craft things in games. Well, I do, but only when it's not the main way to obtain things in general. And all that coral and fish gathering was really boring for me. I wanted to explore, and the game prevented me from doing that because I had no means of diving into the depths, and if I tried, I always died. So for me it took about 2 actual years to get all the equipment I needed for exploring. I can only imagine that some kid can do that in a day or so, but that's not the way for me. I got bored really quickly every time I turned the game on. But that boredom was eradicated one day when I found some really interesting things deep below that, you know, I couldn't reach. So I finally understood why this game was so hard to play for me. It gave me no motivation to proceed. And then when I finally found one, Subnautica transformed into a beautiful world. So addicting that in a week I spent more time here than in the past 2 years. And I continue to do that for weeks to come. So for all the new players, just carry on with that boring part and you will be rewarded. I can without a doubt say that this game is 10 coldest beers out of 10. You have all my recommendations. Although keep in mind that even if it looks so colorful and pretty, it has a lot of horror elements and is not meant for kids. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. This is a massive, challenging action RPG that drops you into a vast open world full of interesting characters and creatures. The game is made by Capcom, a Japanese company, but the whole setting of Dragon's Dogma is European. So you may think maybe because of that this game features some ridiculous moments, but Capcom was really serious about the job. They went all around Europe to actually get a lot of information, especially for the backgrounds and environments in the Dragon's Dogma. They looked at architecture and buildings and things of that nature, and also just natural environments as well. Also took many pictures and tried to recreate those as closely as possible. Well, a bunch of Japanese people in Europe taking pictures? Who could have thought? Anyway, developers actually did a lot of research in Europe that helped to recreate stuff in game, and that level of dedication is truly admirable. Dragon's Dogma has more strategy and more dynamic fights than usual action RPG games. You know, you can climb monsters here, and that is super cool. Also, it's a tougher game in general. But if you like to explore the open world and love fantasy games, you can't ignore it. Gamers are talking that this is an underrated gem and is a must-play for every open-world RPG fan. Choo-Choo Charles. Here you will navigate a massive play area in a cute little train, and your mission here is to kill and destroy another train, which is a bloodthirsty spider train named Charles. So Mr. Charlie is a very bad train. He misbehaves by eating people alive. He's very hungry train, and he won't stop until you stop him. With machine guns, rockets and other weaponry. People on Steam are praising the game for having a great story, characters, concept and design. It's a short game though, it will take about 3 hours to beat it, but those hours will be legendary. Game has a very positive review score, so don't hesitate. If you ever wanted to hunt for some killer spider train, it is your chance. The biggest downside of the game is that you can't romance other trains or Charlie himself. It would be great if the story took a turn towards breeding new Charlies, so you can't cross that out of your bucket list yet, but who knows what next patch will bring us. Dread Delusion. This is as indie as it can get, and it has around 90% positive reviews on Steam, so don't let the graphics engine scare you. The game is inspired by classic RPGs of the beginning of this millennium, except with nowadays technology, this game can actually contain everything players ever wanted these games to have. Truly open world, fluid combat, and so on. So here you will uncover a rich interactive narrative through the game's quests, or you can pick any direction and explore by yourself, carve your own path, and probably die horribly. Doesn't matter, the game allows that, and this is awesome. You can slay the evil out in the wilds or go to towns. They offer a needed respite for you to sleep through the night, trade goods, accept quests and speak with the locals. You will build your character to face challenges the way you want. And there is always an alternative to combat. Charm NPCs, pick locks, harness forbidden knowledge, and so on. What I see as the biggest flaw of this game is... I don't know how to say, but you will understand. Fluid graphics. Everything is shimmering and rippling, and I hate that. The good thing is that after some playtime, you will stop noticing that. The brain just adapts, so don't worry about that. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is probably the best fantasy open-world RPG ever created, and I doubt that I could find anyone who at least never heard of it. Well, at least inside the Western influence hemisphere, it's a true legend. On Steam it has more than 600,000 reviews, and 96% of these people recommend this game for you. And I don't know who are the 4% who didn't like the game. I scrolled for like 5 minutes through hundreds of reviews and failed to find any explaining why. Although I finally found one. Dude said that he doesn't like developers anymore after the flop of Cyberpunk 2077, which is honestly a good game by now, and that's why he gave a negative review for Witcher 3. That is not serious. And my friendship with Witcher Geralt started way before any of the games were released. I read the book when I was a teenager, and after many years I even got Andrzej Sapkowski to sign it for me when he was visiting Lithuania for some book fair or something. And we also spoke for like 20 seconds as well. Never washed my mouth in years after that. Anyway, the game has an incredible story, super fun gameplay and a huge dark fantasy open world to explore. The coolest thing is, of course, your profession. You kill monsters for money, so you can just travel around the map and fulfill contracts ignoring the main story as long as you want or as long as you can get a new contract. And every single monster hunt is a handcrafted mission with different outcomes and sometimes hard moral choices. Third Witcher is probably the best game I have ever played. Maneater. Have you ever wanted to become a shark? To swim in the endless ocean until you get eaten by a bigger shark or a killer whale? Well, honestly, being a shark kinda sucks. I wish I was a jellyfish instead. No brain, no worries, no anxiety, only never-ending fun. Yeah, I'm sure jellyfishes feel like that every day. Anyway, Maneater will let you experience the ultimate power fantasy as the apex predator of the seas. Become a giant shark and eat someone. By the way, Maneater is a single-player open-world action RPG. Yeah, you heard right, it's an RPG game. I can only guess that you weren't expecting that. You will start as a small shark pup tasked with surviving the harsh world while eating your way up the ecosystem. To do this, you will explore a large and varied open world, encounter diverse enemies and prey, both human and wildlife. Find the right resources and you can grow and evolve far beyond what nature intended. It's a game after all. This is fortunate because you can get revenge on all those filthy fishermen. Mad Max. This is without a doubt one of the best open world games on Steam. More than 90% of positive reviews are here for a reason. You will play as a lone warrior in a savage post-apocalyptic world where cars are the most important thing, the very key to survival. So in Mad Max you will have the same mindset as my neighbor Ginteres, who fixes his car every day, polishes the paint and spends more time with it than with his own wife. But the balance in nature is always around the corner. My other neighbor Darius has no car, so he spends time with Ginteres' wife. Everyone is happy. Anyway, in Mad Max you will find an action-packed open world where you must fight against vicious gangs of bandits to stay alive in the wasteland. You want nothing more than to leave the madness behind and find solace in the mythical Plains of Silence. Along the way in your search, you are challenged with treacherous missions as you scavenge the dangerous landscape for supplies to build the ultimate combat vehicle of your dreams. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is for sure the best game I have played since the third Witcher, and overall in my mind it takes 6th place among all the games I have ever played in my entire life. That is a sacred spot, knowing that I've been playing video games for the last 35 years. The game has an amazing branching story where your decisions hugely impact the world and your surroundings. Who you are, where you go, who you decide to befriend, kill or bang, everything has a meaning. Dialogues are great, voice actors are the best in the business, freedom of choice is overwhelming, you never know what you will find. You know, once I tried to speak to a frog. I said something probably not very nice and frog tried to kill me, wiped out half of my party. But I befriended a witch who likes to kidnap and imprison simple folk from the village in her dungeon. She sells me nice stuff now. I killed all the druids and made friends with goblins. Then I didn't, and everything was different. I played the game 3 times and I will do that again and again. Baldur's Gate 3 is beyond amazing, 11 cold beers out of 10.
And now thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Also subscribe.